Good morning, everybody. This is Judith A. Cope. You're listening to Mad Love. I got my heater going. It's pretty chilly. But I'm not complaining. I like chilly, rainy, cold weather. I love it best when I don't have to go out in it. But in an effort to keep up my relationships with the people I did like at my job, or my old job, I make lunch dates and coffee dates, and today is a coffee date. So this will be short. Looks like Shedeur Sanders is going to remain the starting QB, at least for this week, which makes perfect sense because he won. And I figured out the stat, or I saw the stat. He's the first person to start a game for the Cleveland Browns and win since Eric Geyer. Was it Geyer or Zaire? I remember, but he was not that memorable of a player. I think he was from Georgia, University of Georgia. But I always sort of rooted for the Browns, and they were just the underdog team that you kind of just were always like, come on, it's the team of Jim Brown. Come on, you guys, let's, And they usually had a formidable defense, but they just really struggled. And I remember watching this guy, I think it was Eric Zaire. But anyway, Shedeur was the first person since 1995 to win his first game as a starter. That's wild. That is wild. And then I think they also then moved to Baltimore, which a lot of people don't know that the Ravens are really the Browns. And then, unlike St. Louis, Cleveland got their team back. They got a franchise, and man, it was like whoa. And they were bad for a long time because they were even worse as the franchise group because nobody wanted to go there. And then they finally, you thought things had turned around with Johnny Manziel. Nope. You think I remember when Brady Quinn was there? Nope. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it looks very promising for Shedeur if he just gets a chance. And that's the thing. They can't control him. He's already rich. He's already been in all the rooms because his father raised him very well. His father is in his life. So you can't manipulate him and be a father figure to him. Like all the things that make the NFL kind of cringe, they can't do it with Shedeur because he grew up NFL royalty, and I don't know that they require that of all their players, but they certainly would like their quarterbacks to be more malleable, or especially the black players. You can see it. And I'm not a person, and you can listen to all these podcasts. I'm not a person that goes to the race car very often. But there's no other explanation for how they're treating him. And they want him to be subservient. And a lot of these cats are. I think the closest in the NFL that would be like Shedeur would be Christian McCaffrey. I remember watching Ed McCaffrey and wearing his shoulder pads were just too small. I always thought he was going to have massive shoulder problems. But he was not Deion. He was a champion and he was a great player, but he wasn't flamboyant and a superstar. So it's really hard, for somebody like Prime. It would be like if Andre Rison had a son in the league. They want to control these people. They don't want them to be out here being bigger than the game. See, that's how the NFL survives. It's because you can't have remember players from year to year. Like for every superstar, for every Greg Lloyd on the Steelers, you can't even remember because someone else then shows up and then they're now it's Cam Hayward. And I remember Cam Hayward's dad, Craig Ironhead Hayward, and then it'll be somebody else. The Shield never wants you to be bigger than the game. And Shedeur is bigger than the Shield, and it's driving them insane. It really is. They don't want this a young black man to think he is anything special, because the NFL thrives off of making players think they're not special. They're just part of the shield. They're just part of the league. And they do it on purpose, because as a person who's watched football, professional football, since the 70s, they don't want you, they'll allow you to remember the greats, but they don't ever want anybody to pine the way the NBA did when Jordan left. The NFL would never be happy with one player being the game, because people would stop watching as soon as that person left. And that's kind of what happened with the NBA. And then they kept trying to find the next Jordan. Remember Baby Jordan? No. Harold Miner? No, you don't, because he didn't pan out. I remember when they were trying to make it Grant Hill. Yeah, it's just, there was only one Jordan. See, the NFL is different. They're like, we got a Jordan on every team. And then after that player goes down, we'll have another Jordan to fill their place. It's a next man up league. And that is what's killing them. And I'm emboldened to say that because I was listening to someone who is of from India descent. And she was saying how not surprised she was that Deepak Chopra was on the Jeffrey Epstein plane logs. And she went to break down the caste system in India, and how men from the upper group of the upper caste system in India all think that they can do whatever they want because of their place in their system, which sounds a lot like, rich people here. And I was going to say white, but look at OJ. OJ was able to put on a defense that a white man could put on because he had money. When you have money and resources, you feel entitled to things. And apparently Deepak and Vikram Yoga, that Bikram, was it Bikram? Bikram Yoga, that guy, there's a Netflix documentary on that guy. So now they call it hot yoga because Bikram was a rapist. It's like, dude, what is going on? Every culture is represented in some sort of sexual perversion. And I told you all that. I told you that child sex stuff. And this wasn't with children. This was just raping women and maybe children. I don't know. But the Bikram yoga dude, he forced himself on almost every woman in his presence. And it's just weird to me how many men equate power with sexual dominance. Because I don't even think it's about the sex. I think it's just about control. There's one person I'm thinking of, and they're not that powerful yet. Not really, not to me. But the little bit of power that they have exploited by sexually dominating people, women. I don't even think they want to have sex with women primarily. I just think they like controlling women. And the best way to control a woman and just test her loyalty is through sex. Because women fall in love. They'll do anything you want. That's why I say I don't think it's equal. I've never, and it's not that I'm, picking on guys, but I've never heard of the type of loyalty that women show to men. Even in abusive situations, I've never heard of that in return from a man towards a woman. And that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'm just saying I've never seen it. Not in my personal life, not in my professional life, not in stories from friends. Like, women get so connected to these men, even when it's bad. Like, that kind of loyalty is almost scary. And I think there are people out here, male especially, and they will exploit that feeling just to have it. Not because they're enjoying the sex with you. They just want to engender more loyalty from you because they feel like they need to control you. I think that it ought to be more examined because I'm on to something. But I have to leave now, so I won't be examining it anymore today. But I hope you have an amazing Tuesday. We're already a couple of days away from Thanksgiving. I say be thankful every day. But yeah, enjoy the end of your week. And if you really want to make an impact, do not fall into this heavy duty Christmas shopping and Black Friday and all of that. These companies are counting on you to get into the black, which is ironic. So yeah, don't do it. Don't fall for it. Hold your money. Keep your peace. Take care of yourselves. Bye.